Greetings, PlayStation adepts. Sony told us what games will be added to the PS Plus Extra and Premium catalog in May. Subscribe to the channel, give us a like, and now you'll find out which games will be added and which will be removed. The first game that will be added to the PS Plus Extra catalog in May is S.T.A.L.K.E.R Legends of the Zone Trilogy. The bundle includes Shadow of Chernobyl and 2 standalone add-ons, Clear Sky and Call of Pripyat. The games will tell about the anomalous zone, formed around the Chernobyl nuclear power plant, filled with terrible mutants and incredible artifacts, as well as about stalkers who are trying to get them and unravel the mysteries of the zone. It's interesting that just today the news came out that this trilogy will get an improved version for PlayStation 5 on May 20th, and suddenly it turns out that the game will also appear in Extreme. Well, that's not a bad thing, although the game is old but quite interesting, and the young people on the PlayStation did not play it. The next game that will be added to the subscription is called Battlefield 5. The events of the game are set in the Second World War. The main emphasis is on network battles, but there is also a story campaign, which is a small war stories based on real historical events. Soul Hackers 2 will also be added to the catalog. It's a turn-based RPG where humans coexist secretly with demons. The action takes place in futuristic Tokyo. The main character is an agent of the mysterious organization Aeon, capable of predicting the future. She, together with a team of allied demons, investigates a conspiracy that threatens humanity. The Soul Hackers trick is that the protagonist can interfere in the fate of other characters, changing the outcome of events. The new game of the catalog will be Five Nights at Freddy's Help Wanted Full-Time Edition. The game is a collection of mini-games that recreate key moments from the first parts of the franchise and also offers new nightmares in virtual reality. The player plays the role of a tester who must survive night after night by monitoring cameras, locking doors, and avoiding animated robots eager to capture him. In May, Sandland will join the PS Plus Extra catalog. The action of this adventure game takes place in a post-apocalyptic world where water has become scarce and deserts have swallowed everything. The protagonist, the demon Beelzebub, and his companions go in search of a legendary source of water. The world in the game is open, and you will have to explore it using vehicles, which can be modified, as well as fight with bandits and monsters. The new game of the catalog will be Humankind. It is a turn-based strategy game inspired by the Civilization series. The game covers the entire history of mankind from ancient times to modern times, offering a unique approach to the development of civilization. The player combines the traits of different nations and creates a unique civilization based on them. Territory boundaries depend on the player's influence and decisions, and battles take place on separate locations, taking into account the terrain and units. The subscription will also be replenished. Granblue Fantasy vs. Rising, turn-based RPG Gloomhaven Mercenaries Edition, and Farmer Simulator Story of Seasons A Wonderful Life, while Deluxe and Premium subscribers will also be able to play Battle Engine Aquila. I can't say that I'm interested in the May edition. Yes, of course, there are a couple of games that you can play, but in my opinion, this is the weakest month. But don't hurry to get upset. Last year, there was an abundant replenishment of the catalog in June, time to the days of play sale. Maybe this year they'll add a lot of good stuff too. Write in the comments how you like the replenishment, and I'll tell you about the games that will leave the subscription on May 20th. The first game leaving the subscription in May is Grand Theft Auto V. GTA's cycle of extremes continues, and 6 months after it was added, it leaves the subscription. So finish the story campaign, finish online, and prepare money for GTA 6. Well, or buy GTA 5 if you really like it. It is on sale as inexpensive. The next game leaving the subscription, Infamous Second Son. But why remove your own game from your catalog? I sincerely do not understand. Unless Sony decided to make another remaster. If anyone knows, write in the comments. It's an open-world, third-person action adventure where the protagonist gains superpowers and tries to establish justice for his people and city while gaining new abilities and becoming either a hero or a villain. Also leaving the subscription is Batman Arkham Knight. The story tells the story of how Scarecrow invented a new toxin that can drive people crazy and cause uncontrollable aggression. He teams up with Penguin, Two-Face, Harley Quinn, and the Enigma to destroy Batman. The main novelty of the game is Batmobile, on which you can move around the city and perform some tasks. Portal Knights will be leaving the subscription on May 20th. If you were looking for a game that would work on similar principles to Minecraft, but at the same time had a more pleasant graphics and more or less acceptable quest system so that there was some ultimate goal, and not just abstract do what you want, then Portal Knights, I think, will be just such a game. Here you can set the appearance of your hero, choose a class for him, and go on adventures across the islands to fight a variety of monsters and bosses. Payday 2 Crime Wave Edition will leave the PS Plus Extra catalog in May. Payday. This is a cooperative first-person shooter where players take on the role of payday gang members as they commit large-scale bank robberies, prison breaks, cyber crimes, and hostage-taking. The game features a large selection of weapons, armor, and skills to aid in completing missions. In the years since its release, Payday 2 has had a huge amount of missions and collaborations with other franchises like Hotline Miami, Shadow Warrior, John Wick, and Left 4 Dead, so there is plenty of content to go around. The next game leaving the subscription is LEGO Marvel Superheroes 2. The events of the game begin 4 years after the events of the first installment. Kang the Conqueror travels through different timelines and realities, conquering and kidnapping his most favorite cities and then combining them into one place called Chronopolis. Through this, various superheroes come together to thwart the threat of Kang the Conqueror, who plans to take over the entire universe. The game will allow the player to control hundreds of characters from the Marvel universe, both from comics and movies, and the characters will be from different time periods and realities, such as Noir Spider-Man, Spider-Gwen, Spider-Man 2099, Hulk and Thor from the movie Thor Ragnarok, etc. Also leaving the subscription is Ghost Runner. It is a very hardcore cyberpunk action game from the first person, where the protagonist must overcome obstacles using parkour and defeat opponents with his sword. The events of the game unfold in a giant tower city, where after the catastrophe, the last remnants of people took refuge, and which is ruled by the Iron Hand of Mara the Keymaid. That's her, and you need to defeat her in the end. In addition to heavy battles tied to speed and reaction, players will also have to run a lot to explore the world of the game to discover the secret of the main character's origin. On May 20th, Bloodstained Ritual of the Night will leave the subscription. It is a 2D Metroidvania platformer in which the player will have to play as Miriam, who suffers from a curse that turns humans into demons. In the game, Miriam explores a huge castle filled with enemies and traps to stop her former friend who is trying to summon demons and destroy the world. The gameplay is reminiscent of classic platformers, where players have to explore multi-level maps, collect items, upgrade abilities, and fight bosses. Players can customize their heroine, improve her characteristics, and change her appearance, allowing them to adapt her to their preferences and play style. Enter the Gungeon will be leaving the PS Plus Extra catalog in May. It's a roguelike top-down shooter where you have to explore dungeons in order to find the treasure of the legendary Gungeon, a cannon that can destroy the past. The game is fast, fun, and quite challenging, but it will be easier to play together with a teammate. After all, everyone knows that 2 burning farts are better than 1. Also, the Lego Movie 2 video game will be leaving the subscription in May. The second installment tells how the world of constant construction was suddenly invaded by alien invaders who began destroying everything in their path. Emmett and Lucy decided to save their home and fight back the invaders from outer space. To do this, they gathered all their friends and together began to fight the enemies. The gameplay is borrowed from Lego Worlds and Lego Dimensions, for which the game was trashed by critics and players. On May 20th, Journey to the Savage Planet Employee of the Month will leave the subscription service. This first-person sci-fi adventure game tells the story of an employee of the Native Space Corporation who is dumped on an uncharted planet with almost no equipment and is now tasked with determining if the planet is suitable for human habitation. The game features a colorful alien world inhabited by various types of alien flora and fauna, which must be cataloged. In addition, you need to collect resources needed to create new items and improvements, such as a jetpack and boarding cat, allowing the player to visit inaccessible locations. In the game, you will have to shoot from a variety of weapons to fight off the aggressive inhabitants of the world. Also in May, the catalog will leave the survival on a dangerous planet, Stranded Alien Dawn, racing simulator motorcycle riding MotoGP 24, addition to The Sims 4 Island Living. In some regions, for removal is still listed shooters, Resistance Fall of Man and Resistance 2, where humanity fights mutant chimeras. PlayStation VR2 helmet owners will lose the opportunity to play the realistic simulator, Walkabout Mini Golf, the musical rhythm game Synth Riders, the cooperative Ghostbusters, action game Ghostbusters Rise of the Ghost Lord, adventure game Before Your Eyes, and 2 parts of the story adventure in the Walking Dead universe, where the player must survive on the zombie-infested streets of New Orleans, The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners. The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners, Chapter 2, Retribution. If any of all of these games appeal to you, get them on your console and play them soon. Access to them will close on May 20th. Subscribe to the channel, press the bell, and turn on all notifications so you don't miss my new videos and know which games will officially join Essential, as well as games joining and leaving the extra catalog. Play and win. See ya!